need. I'm breaking bitches for the sea. Would you die for me? Into the sea, would you die for me, baby? Would you die for me? Into the sea, would you die for me, baby? Conscience, gonna be you. Would you die for me? Into the sea, would you die for me, baby? Would you die for me? Into the sea, would you die for me, baby? Would you die for me? Into the sea, would you die for me, baby? Would you die for me? Into the sea, would you die for me, baby? With love as my religion, and sickness is my drug. Carefully craft incisions until you fit like glove. With love as my religion, and sickness is my drug. Carefully craft incisions until you fit like glove, like love. With love as my religion, and sickness is my drug. Carefully craft incisions until you fit like love, like love. With love as my religion, and sickness is my drug. Carefully craft incisions until you fit like love.
It's like say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body. Because I am more than physical matter, I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, to use such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about fire. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I am the void one.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek. I almost said the Mossy Creek Bottoms, or the Mossy Creek Bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. We are live on the Fringe FM at fringe.fm and YouTube as well on Lighting the Void YouTube. It's October the 7th, 2025. We're on a Tuesday and the moon is 100% full. So maybe some weird stuff will happen tonight, maybe not. But either way, we're still taking the ultimate journey with Robert Monroe. So that's coming up. First, I got to say hi to the people in the production Discord. The Wolf and Flying Bryce are here with us as always, just to keep me sane. I haven't been feeling really good today, so I'm looking forward to doing a full broadcast, but hopefully everything will be fine, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, this thing might just get real weird and I might start feeling a little woozy. You ever have a psychedelic experience when you're not ready for one? That happens sometimes. We were talking about that the other night, although we can't, after the show, I can't really say what we were talking about, but I'll say that sometimes just reading this book alone gives me a psychedelic experience. I don't know why, it just does. Wolf, you guys ever feel like that? Either that or you just get completely confused, Bryce? I do. I get confused. Or maybe it's just I get feeling like I'm having some kind of weird, almost out of body experience while I'm reading the damn thing, It's kind of weird.
Man, it's an after effect from that movie we watched.
Yeah, Enter the Void, right?
Man, that's crazy. Yeah.
I think did anybody in the chat watch that movie after I mentioned it? Like, did you make it to the end of it? That is a psychedelic experience in itself. Check that movie out. As long as you're like above the age of 45, you can probably watch it. Okay, but check that movie out. It's supposed to be about out of body experiences, but well, I don't know. It was weird. So we're on part 4, Hail and Farewell. And Robert Monroe is very curious, and we're getting into the nitty gritty as we're going to get deep into this book. This book's going to go by really quick, and then I'm lining up interviews and stuff for the regular radio show, plus lining up stuff for the station and the Halloween broadcast. I know I've seen people tuning in late nights when we had like the Manly Hour and Manly P. Hall's on. So I'll let you guys know as soon as we launch all the new stuff on the station, and you'll be able to hear it. So it goes like this. Anything you guys want to say before we start this journey tonight? I'm good. Whenever you guys, anything.
I'm good.
You
I'm good.
Wolf? All right, here we go.
Yeah.
So my curiosity was still not satisfied. Where did we leave off? Oh. Yeah, he was talking to the inspect thinking he was so that's where we left off. He was talking to this alien inspect dude. He thought he was a human once. Then he went and visited these humans, and these humans were like back in the past, but they were advanced. So anyways, my curiosity was still not satisfied. I was feeling full of myself, impatient and ready for more new experiences. However, I who lived nearby died. A man who lived nearby died, or excited as I preferred to regard it. Why am I reading like crap? I told you I feel like crap tonight. Exited as I preferred to regard it. So someone died following a heart attack in his family. And his family asked me if I could locate and contact him. I'm assuming in the astral realm. And on my next visit to my inspect friend, I asked for help with this, but I was told such access was not possible at this time. A report in the form of a rote was all that could be obtained, and I accepted this as satisfactory in circumstances. Then a new question came immediately to mind, which had much to do with my own physical experience in the here. I asked the inspect if I could be shown one non-physical, non-human intelligence, which I could talk with easily. Somewhat to my surprise, my friend offered to lead me to one, and we set off through the darkness. In what seemed only a moment, we flashed into a space filled with stars. Just below us was what I recognized as our moon, and in the near distance was the huge blue and white marbleized globe, the Earth. I looked around. Where was this superhuman or super non-human intelligence? Reading the question, the inspect told me to look behind and above. I was astonished. Just 20 feet above me and stretching for what seemed to be miles was a huge, circular, saucer-shaped object, a typical flying saucer as so often described, but 1,000 times larger, much too big to credit. But as I had that thought, it shrank instantly to some 200 feet in diameter. Then a door in the bottom slid open and a figure, a man, a very human-looking man, emerged and walked. Yes, walked across to where I floated. And as he approached, I recognized him, short, round, and chubby, dressed with a sort of shabby gentility and wearing a gray top hat, his nose red and bulbous, his mouth a leering grin. He was an exact replica of the star of so many comic movies I enjoyed in the physical when I was young, like W.C. Fields. But this replica, or projection, or hologram, whatever it was, spoke like Fields as well, with the same intonations and repetitions. He invited me aboard and showed me into what appeared as a large domed room with pictures on its walls of every comedian I'd ever heard of, and many more whom I hadn't, and together with thousands of scribbled jokes and cartoons. He described all this as his cargo. I framed the question in my mind. Cargo? What do you mean, cargo? And I continued, you can drop the impersonation. I can take you exactly as you are. And then the alien or whatever responded, in the astral responded, you really mean it, don't you? But I'll keep it if you don't mind. It helps me to think like a human. Or would you prefer someone else, like Groucho Marx, perhaps? No, stay as you are. Tell me what you're doing, hanging around Earth. My boy, I'm an exporter. I see. And what do you have that we need apart from this spaceship? Well, I must have used the term wrong. I export from here, not to my friend. What possible thing could we have that is valuable to you? You're obviously way ahead of our technology. You use thought communication, so we have nothing you could want or need. He scratched his nose. Well, sir, it's not easy to get, but I do. Yes, sir, I do. We don't have any, and you can't imagine how valuable something is if you don't have any. Don't have any what? I said. Well, I've been gathering it for ages. It used to be very rare, but there's more of it about now. You've lost me. Well, sometimes you need to know the civilization to understand it. That's one of the problems. Yeah, I still don't see. Well, you humans have it, and it's very rare and valuable among the rest of the intelligent species in what you call the physical universe and elsewhere. Very rare and valuable. I'm a specialist in collection. You don't understand, I see. Let me explain. Robert said, yeah, please do. Well, it's a 1 in a million product, and you humans have it. A sense of humor, jokes, fun, the best tonic there is for overloaded mind systems. It auto erases the tension and pressure almost every time it's used. So you cruise around among us looking for the newest and latest, like jokes, I guess? Exactly. You humans catch sight of our collection units every now and then and get the wrong idea. You even make UFO jokes about us. All we want to do is look and listen, nothing else. Apart from the odd practical joke just to keep in training. And now, if you'll excuse me, sir, I must be on my way. Suddenly, I found myself outside the spaceship, which was rapidly diminishing into the far distance. I homed in on my inspect friend, who was waiting for me in the deep darkness. Now I knew that at least humans have one unique quality. The inspect said, well, you managed that well, but there is another matter that occupies your mind. You have a hidden desire that you are trying to express. Robert replied, yeah, there's one that I would like to visit. You know what I mean. Well, the most mature and evolved human in physical Earth, living in your time reference. That is so. Can it be done? Yes, but the result may not be what you expect. Well, I wish to try all the same. I shall lead you. I followed the dwindling curl of light through the darkness for I don't know how long, and suddenly I was in a room, a normal sort of room, sparsely furnished with a few chairs and easy chairs and a table. 2 large windows allowed in rays of sunlight. Outside there appeared to be a stand of tall trees. It could be anywhere on Earth. At a desk on the side of the room sat a person, and I couldn't tell whether it was a male or female. The face and body structure could be either. The face was almost unlined, and the hair light brown and down just around the ears. The age somewhere between 30 and 50, as far as I could tell. The clothing was simple, a white shirt and dark slacks. But it was the radiation that stunned me. It was like standing in bright spring sunlight that was filled with every human emotion that ever existed. It was almost overwhelming and yet familiar. It was equally balanced. One moment it was male, then I was sure it was female. A true equal, like a he-she. A he-she. The radiation closed off. He-she, there had to be a name. Looked up. There had to be a name. It's a he-she, man. The eyes were bottomless. That's creepy. I could detect no expression or emission. The control was perfect. Yet I could not understand the reason for the restraint. The lips didn't move, but I heard. I was expecting this now. There was a warm chuckle in what I understood. He-she, the thing said. I've never heard that name before. Well, I meant no disrespect. I didn't know what to call you. One name is as good as another. Now, you don't really believe I can be of help to you. Well, I always hoped that you could. In what way? The he-she responded. To answer a few questions, Robert said. Well, what good would my answers be to you? I don't know. You insist others obtain their own answers. Why should you be different? This struck home. It was as if my bluff had been called. You're right. What I'm really interested is in you, not answers to my questions. Well, I am only one of your statistics, one of the 1 in a million types. Your friend has done well in locating me. Well, I perceive you as Occidental, yet no one on Earth really believes you exist, but we've met before, just once, haven't we? You see, you are answering your own questions, yet you have lived only one physical lifetime. You have not been recycled like the rest of us, but how do I know these things? You're reading my mind. Yeah, only a part of it, and with your permission, I'm sure. One continuous lifetime for 1,800 years. How do you stay young? I keep changing jobs. That keeps anyone young. Is that a good answer? That's what the he, she's saying. I keep changing jobs. That keeps anyone young. Is that a good answer? A great one. Well, what a pleasure to meet you this way. What is your job now, if it may be called that? Well, you might call me an organizer, a facilitator, whichever you like. With your ability, I would think there's much you can do at this very moment. Yeah, I keep busy. What? No, I can read it. You drive an ambulance. You're a late-night bartender, a psychiatric counselor, and you're just on your way to teach history at the university, and there's more. I like people. Wait, you flew gliders once at Harris Hill? I think I remember you. That's where it was. Y'all remember, like, Robert Monroe, he had he liked to fly gliders and stuff. Yeah, I was just having a little fun. Where do you eat and sleep? Well, I gave those up years ago. You must conduct fascinating lectures in history. I try to amuse and confuse with contradictions. Your next job, what kind of job will it be? Well, organizing, naturally, introducing a variable just as you do, such as this book, or the mind-altering programs you disseminate. Those things all add a variable into the lives of those who encounter them. Now, instead of all the questions, why don't you read what needs organizing and the goals to be achieved? I can give you what you call a rote about that, about a plan that doesn't involve communism or socialism or capitalism or dictatorship. Yeah, they say it can't be done. That is what makes it worth the effort. It needs a unified worldwide human endeavor. This will happen through recognized necessity, not through religions, race, or political beliefs, or force of arms. Yeah, necessity is severe stuff. The world would have to be in rough shape. Well, that is the reason for waiting. The time will come, the he, she said. There was a sudden surge of energy, similar to what I had felt previously. As it faded, I knew the rote was in place, ready to be unrolled when the time was right. I had one more question for he, she. When you have time, what about organizing the energy where we work? We need it. You do not really need it, but I will do my best. Will you be in physical form? Certainly, but you will not recognize me. You know I will try. Of course, Ashanine, and I will be ready for you. You cannot find me again unless I agree. And now I am due at the university. Thank you so very much. Will I see you again soon? No, not for a while. He, she, the organizer, turned and left without a backward look. Reluctantly, I searched for my inspect friend, but I could not obtain a fix on any radiation. I was aware it was time to return to the physical, which I accomplished with no trouble. Once there, I sat up, stretched my arms, and suddenly realized I had been given a clue. He, she had called me Ashanine. Or was it a clever misdirection, just for the fun of it? Now I look carefully at every stranger who comes to visit us. Perhaps I should have made a bet. So what the hell just happened here? You know, like, I have no idea what just happened. So he met, from what I'm understanding, because all that was a lot, he met this he, she, and this he, she, apparently he's met whatever it is in real life before. Like, he recognized it because, I mean, is that what you guys were getting? That's what it sounds like to me. Like, it showed up in his real life at one time, and then he recognized it, which is weird. Fucking he, she, though. That's weird, too. You guys dead? Are you still there? What's going on? Did you fall asleep?
Yeah, I'm here.
So you got somebody that lives for 1,800 years, and they shift into different male-female forms.
Yeah, it's weird.
What was the point? Did he say what the point of this one life was? This person that lives once.
I'm confused too. That's why I'm asking you guys. Like, I don't know. It seems to me like it was just like the only thing that I really understood was that he recognized the being. Like, I've seen you in my life before. You know, when we were hang gliding.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And as for the aliens, if they're only collecting jokes, why don't they just abduct comedians?
Oh yeah, I don't know. That's weird though. Wouldn't that be a trip though? If that's what the flying saucers were doing, like the aliens that visited us, they're just here, you know, picking up entertainment, so to speak, collecting stuff like we do when we go to retail stores. You know, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they always said it was something to do with emotions. You know, the ability to love or whatever, things that they don't have. But man, if it's only jokes, that'd be quite funny.
That'd be crazy, man. I guess we'll figure out maybe either we will figure out whatever this he-she thing is about later or not. I don't know. Sometimes Robert will talk about stuff and you'll never hear about it again, which is weird, but it's all part of the experience, I guess. So after this experience, I knew I needed good, solid information more than ever. Several nights later, I focused again on my inspect contact point and used the customary technique. The brightly glowing figure was motionless as I approached, but I could feel the radiation, now familiar and comfortable, that had so overwhelmed me when we first met. I remembered my feeling of awe and how I'd nearly prostrated myself in obeisance the first time. I think that's supposed to be obedience, but you did not. Instead, we shook hands, remember? Yeah, so we did. I do not know what else to do, or I didn't know what else to do. You're doing well with your tuning process. The vibrational adjustment is no longer needed. You understand me clearly, and your thoughts are crisp. And I'm able to handle your bright light without shrinking. That's interesting. To me, you have the same radiation. The mind reading. You're reading my thoughts. That took getting used to. Yeah, I would be like, I don't like people. I don't know if I'd be able to get used to that either. You read my thoughts as I read yours. Then you perceive my preoccupation with our world changes. Certainly. However, it is, as you might put it, not our department. But how do I address these events? My own system demands an explanation, if not understanding. Well, you have begun to find your answers. Although it will seem difficult, the rewards will be great. You evidently know more about this than I gather from you. And for some reason, you cannot or will not tell me why. There is indeed a reason, in your terms, that what we relate becomes only a belief to you. Instead, it is crucial that you know what you seek. We cannot provide such knowing. You mean I have to experience it, whatever it is, and reach my own knowing? That is correct. But you do have knowledge of all I am encountering and will encounter. Yeah, up to a point, and beyond that point, the information is not available to us. Soon the reason will become clear to you. I assumed you knew all of it. I was wrong. Because you are seeking other knowledge, your path is changing. You will be moving in a new direction. We will no longer be able to meet you, as we are doing now. What? What do you mean? That which you desire can only be reached in another form. You are well prepared for it. But I don't understand. Have I done something wrong? Incorrectly? It is the opposite. This coat and this glove, as you put it, will no longer fit that which you need. Do you mean I've outgrown you? That is impossible. We shall always be with you. That will not change. But you will alter your polarities. Such communication as this will no longer be needed. Alter my polarities, but I don't know how to do that. You've already done it. Your return from what you identified as home was performed solely by you. You learned as you repolarized to achieve the change. You did remember. You have been using it. You mean that method of moving out and back to the physical, as if in slow motion, what I call the quick switch. That is correct, and there is more. There is also a basic and essential knowledge, as you would describe it, that you have yet to discover and explore. We wish you well on your journey. Hey, but will we meet again? Yes, but not as we are at this point. I don't know what to say, what to think. Nothing need be said or thought. The glowing light winked out, and I waited alone in the deep blackness for an eternity before, sad and confused, deciding to return. The feeling of loss was overwhelming, and a missing basic, maybe. A new direction. What does that mean? But in my loneliness, there was no place to look. There goes his alien friend. He's gone for good. Maybe I won't have to do his voice anymore or try to attempt it. So this is called Recoup and Regroup. At first, I found it impossible to get over the loss of my inspect friend. I tried many times in desperation to meet again at our contact point, but it was empty. There was simply nothing, not even a whisper of energy radiation. The feeling of abandonment and lack of direction was overwhelming. It was difficult to keep the resultant depression from permeating my daily life, but eventually I managed more or less to succeed. With the inspect connection seemingly dissolved, my goal of becoming a member of that species dimmed, but it was certainly not forgotten, and gradually I restored balance as everyday questions demanded answers, and as I knew of no one who could help me, I kept the problem to myself. I was supposed to be taking a new direction, quote, new direction, but I had no idea or clue as to what that meant. And linked to this was the question, what was the basic that I had missed? However, there was one item I was sure of. Whatever the direction, it was an integral part of a learning process whether I liked it or not. I turned again to the basic. What could it be? He's talking about the basic thing that he'd missed or something, or the basic learning. Something I realized was missing from my own different overview. The only approach I could think of was to go back to basics in an attempt to discover what the missing one was. I had no choice. What was needed was a solid baseline of well-tested, quote, knowing before I could venture into the unknown areas where I'd hoped to uncover the missing basic. To begin with, I needed to establish a first priority, a clear understanding of the here and now of physical life, just as it is, without philosophical and emotional discoloration. This would make a firm foundation. So with all this in mind, I settled down to put my thoughts in order. And here's his notes, the Earth Life System. I thought we already did this. Didn't we already do this in the second book or was that just the loose story?
It was a loose, I think.
I feel like we've already did this Earth Life System thing. Anyways, let's see what this one says. Ari says Joe Rogan is a he. When carbon-based life began to appear and expand into various forms, every form had a prime directive: survive. In detail, this meant physical survival in a highly organized and balanced system of reciprocity and symbiosis. Survival of the individual unit guaranteed survival of the species. At another level, the Earth itself received a similar instruction, which throws a new light on phenomena such as wind and ocean currents, earthquakes, and volcanoes. Thus, Mother Earth meets many of the criteria for an existent life form. This implies a mind consciousness far different from that of the dominant carbon-based species, which had not, and still has not, become aware of this facet of the system. Survival was and is the first law of the system, and in order to survive, each life form needed to absorb its own daily quota of nutrients. Those that, for whatever reason, were unable to do this either mutated or became extinct. As the elementary life forms expanded into various species, a pattern emerged. The bigger, faster forms found the slower, smaller, or stationary forms good eating. In response, the smaller forms learned to move faster, to reproduce more frequently and copiously, or become discarded in the scheme of things. Conversely, the slower big forms found smaller but faster forms emerging with sharp teeth and the ability to act in concert. And in reality, no life form was absolutely safe from others. Danger, crisis, stress, and death became the general pattern. Fear of individual non-survival as danger manifested itself minute by minute triggered action, fight or flight, in the typical Earth life system participant. And as the whole pattern and process expanded, a balance emerged, a balance which we know now as the food chain. The Earth life system was and still is an exquisitely self-adjusting, auto-tuning, self-regenerating organization of energy. The more we investigate the interactive symbiotic relationships contained therein, the more fascinating and complex they become. The entire structure is one of polarities, yet each part is interconnected. Looking again at the Earth life system, we see that the underlying competition theme seems to be a product of the command to survive. Each and every living unit competes for the basics of physical survival: food, water, oxygen, warmth, and sunlight. Often this translates into living space. On and in the ground, or in the water, or in the air, we have various names for this: territorial imperative, room, home, a lair, a den, hunting preserve, deer camp, personal property, real estate, cities, nations. Life forms fight for these and die for them. Set against this is the delicate assignment of living space on the basis of capability. Each species can survive only in its appropriate environment. In water and air, the system remained in fair balance with the food chain operating efficiently, often to the point where changes became no more than a small shift or tune-up. Sorry, I lost my spot because I got distracted. On land, however, the balance was harder to sustain. Hence, the variety of life forms evolved more rapidly, with impressive ingenuity being used to solve the problems for replication and survival. Now, my baseline. Where am I operating from at this time, including the following points? 1. On entry into the Earth life system, each life form is imprinted, probably through DNA, with a prime directive: survive. This is the underlying drive behind every action taken by the participants. The goal is survival of the species, expressed first as survival of the individual unit. This directive is geared specifically and limited to physical existence, with no other implications. Success equals physical survival. Failure equals non-survival or physical non-existence or death. Fear equals the possibility of non-survival. 2. The Earth life system is impersonal in that each life form competes with all others for life-maintaining nutrients. This competition takes place both between species and within the species itself. Cooperation among and within species is standard operating procedure. The system often forces cooperation as a necessity for survival. The whole is a system of predation. Now, damn it, I feel like I read this already. Didn't we read this in the previous book? The whole system is a predator system. Don't you guys remember me saying this?
A little bit. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Okay, well, we'll get through this. 3, any awareness not related to physical survival is denigrated. Any emotion expressed is an aberration as it does not relate to the prime survival directive. Fear is not treated as an emotion. The basic pattern of the system is change. Stasis is entropy. Entropy is death. Thus, imbalance is constant, which creates a steady adaptive response at all levels. Polarization or differential is an integral force at work throughout the system. So everything changes. Stasis, homeostasis, is actually entropy. Entropy is kind of like chaos, things trying to come into balance. Entropy is death. So when you die, things get chaotic. But in life, it's trying to work towards a balance. So thus, imbalance is constant. And that constant imbalance is what he's saying is what creates the energy, where we're adapting to try to balance all the time. So polarization or differential is an integral force at work throughout the system. I get that. Okay. For our different overview, the Earth life system is seen as a food chain predator system, although it is rarely accepted as such. It may appear chaotic and complex, but it is organized and operates under a few simple rules. Grow and exist as long as you can. Get what you need to exist. Maintain your species by reproducing. And that's it. There are no limitations or conditions in applying these rules. Strength, speed, deception, sharp sensory awareness and response, all are great assets. Symbiosis and parasitic patterns are highly acceptable. But honor, ethics, empathy, and the like are non-existent. Every participant is a predator, and the process cannot be altered or changed as long as the Earth life system exists. Survival is difficult, if not impossible, without predatory action. Damn, that's a pretty harsh way to look at human life, but if you think about it systematically, maybe he's right. Next part, the aliens. Amid the smooth-running, efficient process of the Earth life system, an unusual spark appeared in one life form. It could have happened to any one of the thousands of other species, but why it happened to this one, no one knows, or no one yet knows. It resulted not in a new design, but in a modification of the old. Thus, all of the original Earth life system patterns remain strong and only partly under control in this new unit. To make this mutation endure, it would have to occur in more than a single instance and in various locations. Evidence uncovered by archaeologists and anthropologists reveal that, in the context of time since the system came into being, it occurred nearly simultaneously in different areas. This newly modified species found it difficult to survive in the early stages. Its design forced it to develop its own unique methods. It was comparatively hairless, except on its head, which meant it had to take special action to get protection from the cold, heat, and the bites and claws of others. It had neither fangs nor claws, which was a major disadvantage in self-protection and aggressive food gathering. It had no tail, which meant it could not climb trees to escape attack, and more important, it lacked this means of expressing emotion. 2 legs instead of 4 brought unbalance, ungainliness, and a vertical spinal column that was originally designed to be horizontal. Finally, it possessed, in addition to its animal brain, somewhat resembling a tumor that really made the difference. Other animals were bigger, faster, and stronger, could climb better, actually swim naturally, and withstand the elements much more comfortably. It took many generations for the newcomers to figure out why and how, with this awkward and inefficient physical body, they managed to survive. And gradually the realization came that they were different from all the other animals. Hundreds of thousands more years passed before they became aware, or some of them did, that they were indeed more than just another animal. But some still regard their species as no more than intelligent animals. This new factor in the Earth life system proved disruptive and disturbing. It had the same drives, motives, and limitations of other life forms, plus restrictions in body size and capability, yet in a relatively short time it came to dominate all others. The only area that stayed resistant was Earth energy itself. The basic patterns of land, air, water, and fire remained, for the most part, uncontrolled and unchanged. The conquest had a significant and a vital price. By devoting virtually all of its energies into the Earth life system, the new species disregarded or discounted any direct knowledge of what might lie beyond. So it became heavily locked into the reality of the Earth life system concept. But in direct conflict with this massive accumulation and of the preoccupation with earthly knowledge was the most essential characteristic of the species, a mind consciousness foreign to the system itself. It was this developing mind that provided the means to overwhelm all the other species that continued to take the original survival command to extremities and absurdities totally inconsistent with and beyond what could even remotely be construed as need. At some stage, the new species gave itself the label of human beings, or Homo sapiens. And from early days, the human mind learned much from its heritage. It found the animal herd instinct for cooperation highly workable. It adopted the mating concept, pulled from animals who protect their young until they can take care of themselves. It took over the team action in hunting. Organized cooperation enabled it to compete successfully with other animals. So the species developed into the greatest predators of the earth had ever known and made the process an art and a science and even a sport. The animal concept of leadership was recognized early, and at first the strongest took charge. Then the qualities of cunning, intelligence, mental ability were added. The leader had the first choice of the females, the caves, the best part of the kill, so competition turned inward for who got the job. Interspecies predation became the norm, as in the animal pack or herd. Throughout history, whenever humans organized into groups of any significant size, the concept of a god being emerged to become a prominent factor. One simple explanation as to why this occurred is that when the human mind moves into adulthood, it no longer has parental figures to lean upon, blame, provide help, or set the rules. So it conjures up suitable replacements. The need for a god or gods, therefore, may have simple, rational origins. As children, we grow up under the authority of a local father and mother, the immediate representation of the power and the glory that created us. When we ourselves become adults and parents, we look for or fantasize for a bigger father or mother to assume this role. This God being concept is a convenient way to explain the unknown and to relieve the human being from various unwanted responsibilities. The price, however, is to give up large areas of authority. Some developing human egos that maintain that no one or nothing is greater than I am find this difficult to accept. To clear up and put up unknowns into the known category, the human mind also moved in another direction. It took direct, repeatable experiences and, using the rule of cause and effect, turned them into knowns, which it passed down from father to son, mother to daughter, then from the spoken to the written word, and eventually into what became known as schools. Only relatively recently were crude and simplistic, known-seeking processes established and given a label called science. With the passing of time, the new dominant human species developed a predator-driven process far beyond the simple kill-for-food fundamental. It set up its own rules and laws, which were often in conflict with the Earth life system. Fear was still the major tool of the trade, with greed, ego, sexuality, and other such being important components. Yet despite the distortion and discoloration, the alien thinking seeped through. Again and again, the alien human mind began to express and demonstrate elements completely incompatible with the Earth life system. These were, first, concern and empathy as to other members of the species; second, concern and empathy as to the members of other species; and third, a growing curiosity and uncomfortable suspicion as to the limitations apparently imposed on all participants in the system. History and philosophy are full of curiosity seekers and suspicious human minds. There has always been, as there is today, a very thin layer of human minds who have the time and the energy to sit back and just think. They have moved past the immediate need for survival effort. How many are there? 1 in 1,000? 1 in 10,000? In 100,000? Instead of planning and plotting how to exploit their fellow species or to pull riches from the earth, these curious and suspicious human minds sought for patterns beyond the Earth life system in themselves and in others. They found enough to strike responsive chords in their own being, and they passed along what they found. Hell yeah. The message was that human beings are more than mere animals living and dying in the Earth life system. Yet to date, little has been achieved as a result beyond such conceptions as hope, faith, guilt, simple belief in a poorly defined collection of hints and suggestions under the general heading of love. So the species as a whole remains unfulfilled and restless. This, then, is the Earth life system where we are now, and the state of human minds. There are the knowns, and this is where we begin according to our current scientific overview. But the missing basic, even as the light increased, I still did not recognize it. Whoa. Is he right? Is he right?
Well, he refers to humans as alien humans. And what did he say? It happens once in every 100,000 times or something where this creature emerges that doesn't belong.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I think basically he's saying that we're the aliens. Because we go against everything that the system, like everything in the system set up, we go against it,
Yeah, we're alien to the planet, basically.
Yeah.
But he's a little bit atheistic there, isn't he? And kind of a little bit kind of negative as well to a point.
Robo1776 said, this is Plato's escape from the cave concept. Current mankind is still in the cave, looking at the shadow, thinking it's real. Yeah.
Yep.
But there's more than 1 in 100,000 curious minds. I know that to be a fact, right? So he wrote this in, the 80s or something? Out of 1,000 people that you talk to, do you think that most of them only care about their survival and how they can use other people to get what they want, and that's all they're focused on is their Earth life?
Plenty of like that.
Yeah, I think it's probably still like that, but
yeah,
I think that I hope that there's more curious minds. Because you can focus on your survival all you want. You're not staying here. You're going to die. I mean, it's redundant almost to a point. And if you want to like be comfortable during your experience stuff, I get that. But trying to just survive and fight the death thing, you know, like that's not going to happen. You know, it's not going to happen. 1 in 1,000. Yeah, he said maybe even 1 in 100,000 or something like that. You know.
Well, there's 8 billion of us, so how many's that?
I mean, if they're all here in this chat room or lurking, listening on the station, right? I mean, I'll be honest with you. Most of the people, I do meet people in this community that they get entertained by this stuff, but then they're back on the grind. You know, like that's what they're really focused on. Money.
Well, you got it. That's the predator
sex.
Aspect of life, isn't it?
I mean, you have to be. It's in your nature. You know, I mean, you kind of have to be. Here's the thing: if you don't realize, and I agree with him in this, like if you don't realize that this is a predatory system, no matter how much your right brain doesn't want to accept it, that the Earth works that way in circulation. Like you're just fighting. You're just mad at your own existence at that point. You know, I've been there. Why is everything so messed up, man? You know. Why is everybody this way? It's just the way it is. We can change it though. We can definitely evolve it.
Well, the advent of the internet, you know, it brings people together to talk about these things, which wasn't there before. So that might create a kind of collective consciousness that expands in some way. You know what I mean? Eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're supposed to evolve in some kind of way. That's why we're here.
Yeah. You still got to eat and have sex, though. Let's be real.
Yeah. You got to eat. You got to have sex. Now we don't. Now, you know, how he said these human aliens pushed way far beyond what their basic needs were, like other animals do, right? So not only did we just want needs, we want more, and more, right? That's what we want. More comfort, more food, more sex, more money, more experiences, more happiness, more joy, more friends. More what? You know, more everything. You just want to experience as much as you can before you die. Take it all, you know. Use whoever you got to use to get it, to have it. Huey P. Burrito says, man, I grind just to survive. Some of us do, definitely. A lot of us do. You have to, in a lot of ways. We all do.
It's finding that balance, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Leaving trunk. We'll pick it up when I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. We'll continue. I'm wondering if these out of body experiences actually, like, I don't know, like, are these out of body experiences helping him to realize this stuff, or is this just been his philosophy all along? Who knows? Be right back. We're gonna get into what chapter is it? Inside and Outside. That's what it's called. That's coming up.
Gonna still pack mine, leaving trunk. Ain't seen no whiskey, won't make me sloppy.
talk radio, then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's all-new solar-powered, inflatable, low-maintenance, reversible, waterproof, drip-dry, self-winding What's-This? The incredibly versatile all-in-one device that's just perfect for something or another, and as soon as we discover what, we'll be sure to let you know.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Barbara Charlton from Metaphorical Archaeology. If you've ever had a traumatic paranormal experience, the effects of it may stay with you for years. Who do you talk to? You can't go to conventional help. What we do is we use emotional freedom techniques or tapping to actually neutralize the effects of that event. Maybe when you tell the story now, your heart races and your palms get sweaty. You don't even want to think about it because you don't know how to neutralize that. That's what EFT tapping does. It neutralizes those emotions. The circuit that was recorded on is gone. The energy flows freely and you're free of it. And that's what emotional freedom is all about. We offer this as a pro bono service, but this is something that I offer because no one, it seems, is helping people with these experiences. If you'd like to reach me, it's really easy. My cell phone is 214-995-3754. Please leave a message. I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Or you can email me, barb.eft@gmail.com. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Reach out to me. It's confidential. This works. You won't believe the results.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by new Tyrannosaurus Rex Helper. Yes, after a hard day at work under a belching volcano battling giant lizards, there's nothing more refreshing than whipping up a quick batch of Tyrannosaurus Rex Helper. That's Tyrannosaurus Rex Helper. It's Neanderthal.
Belgium, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
All right. Yes, it's loud. You got to play Kenny Wayne Shepherd loud, man. Okay, so I put in a poll in the chat coming back here live on the Fringe FM. Radio listeners are beautiful people. You know what? You're one of a kind. Don't change. Do me a favor, never change. So I put a poll in the chat. Said, is Robert Monroe right? Is Earth a natural predatory system? 83% so far. Well, I mean, we only got 6 votes, but 83% so far says yes. 17% says no. Did you throw in your vote, Wolf?
I accidentally hit yes.
You did? You really think no?
I'm in the middle. No, it's not that. I just think it's predatory, yes, because we have to eat, and to eat we have to kill or veg or destroy stuff. You know, it's predatory for everything, but maybe not completely for us. There is a spiritual aspect to us or something. You know what I mean?
I think, yeah, I think so. I think there's a spiritual half to us that's like that. And it just depends on which half of us we're focusing on, you know? That's what I think.
Yeah, you got to walk the middle path, haven't you, and try and balance it. Question is, why are we not one thing or the other?
I think the Earth itself, though, like what Monroe's saying, is definitely a predatory system. If you removed all humans from it, let's just say we removed ourselves, because we don't want to think ourselves as predator, even though we're doing everything that we can to survive and thrive. Anyways, but let's just remove ourselves from it and then observe. Is it a predatory system? I'd say absolutely, you know. If you know what I mean. You add us to it, and then I think we'd like to think that we're not. You know, I'm not. They are, not me. You put yourself first in almost every situation if you're a healthy individual, because you can't help people anyways if you don't take care of yourself. And then too, like, it's just been my observation in 43 years of existence that the majority of us will do whatever it takes to survive and thrive before we do anything else. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, to live in this system, you have to be a predator, don't you? Yeah. There's no doubt. There's no way around that.
It's set up to be, Ari says. I voted yes, Word Salad said. Yeah. Well, look, keep the votes coming. Maybe we'll get some hope in there. Yeah. So we don't have to take Robert Monroe's word for it, even though he's had a million out-of-body experiences, but we can figure this stuff out for ourselves. So what he's really trying to do, and this next part is called Inside and Outside, what he's really trying to do is figure out what is this missing basic thing that this alien inspect told him that, you know, you figured out a lot, but you're missing the basic lesson, I guess. So where is the missing basic? And what is the new direction? Both seem well hidden. Perhaps it would help in the search if we first find out and pin down what we really are. Is that even possible? As human minds, we are what we think. We also are what others think. Most of this has little to do with our physical bodies when we go below the surface. And to deal with this more closely, let us create a model of the human mind as it operates in practice, a pragmatic model, if you like. Imagine as it's structured in layers, something like an onion, and let us work from the in to the out. The core self, or the very inside of us, this is the intrinsic original human mind. Starting from this inner core, we are the essence of the sum of our experiences, without limitation. The inner core is composed of the following: what we have lived and consciously thought to date, the emotions we have experienced, the love we have expressed and experienced, the dreams we have experienced, whether we remember them or not, the pains and the pleasures, the daydreams, wishes, and hopes, all of the above during our non-physical activity, like sleep, etc., and all of the above during any and all previous life activity. Unidentified elements. Then there is the animal subself. This is the layer element that is most difficult to control. All of the expressions of the human mind route through here and receive data in the Earth life system through here as well. This is where the filtering and discoloration and contamination take place. The problem is that we think we need to rely on it or we cannot remain physically human. Physiologically, it comprises a cluster consisting of the mammalian brain, the reptilian brain, and the limbic system. Its signals taint almost every facet of human life, almost, but not all. The next layer is the conscious mind. The next layer can be identified as what you think you are, which is entirely different from knowing what you are. The reason is that only a part of the inner core is available to the conscious you. Hence, there is much distortion, as expression has to pass through the animal subself. The conscious mind may be wholly accurate, but in some areas, local concepts and customs give an opposite interpretation from that of your core self. Although much of this layer is deliberately hidden from others, a considerable part is expressed in our outer self. Because it is so strong, we have no choice in this. This layer is further complicated by belief systems. For many of us, the complexity becomes a maze. It's no surprise that most don't find a clear way out. The next layer of the onion out is the human mind external. The next outward layer is what we think of others, think of us. Now, this is a grand mixture because part of it is intuitive nonverbal communication, which gets confused with what our sensory and analytical perception tells us. This layer is in a constant state of flux, changing constantly with new experience and new perception. In this section, which is controlled heavily by cultural context, we develop artificial and synthetic drives and motivations which probably lead to most mental and physical dysfunction. Attempting to keep up or leading a totally reactive existence, which is what many people do, can, if you allow this lifestyle to take over. It leads to a veritable hell on earth. I always said that too. Comparing yourself to others or worrying about what other people think is, in fact, hell. Human mind role, this is the next layer. Moving outward, you have the skin, what you want others to think of you. This is usually fairly simple. Mostly it's set by the acceptability and needs of the world around you, superimposed, hopefully, with waves and pulses thrusting out from your inner core. The presentation of self is careful and usually covered with a sheen of deception. In hard cases, no sign of the inner layer even ever appears. Even under great stress, such cases die with their false faces on, grimly and stoically. The next layer is the human mind radiation. The outermost layer of the onion, much larger than you might expect, is composed of others' thoughts of you. Consider yourself as existing wherever and whenever any other person or being thinks of you, even only occasionally. Now, you may get some idea of the magnitude by recalling all of those you think of, even only occasionally. And just as a belief at this point, all of those who still think of you but who no longer inhabit a physical body, who are now somewhere else. And plus those who know you from any other existence, whatever it may be or have been. You would be astounded at how big and how much you actually are. Very little of this radiation of you, as perceived by others, is aware of the content of your inner core self. The disguise and filtration are in the way. But a problem does lie in our deep concern as to what others think of us. Now, so much for this model of the human mind. Now it might seem that we can sharpen our different overview greatly if we focus solely on the signs of the core self as they make their way through the many layers of what we are. But we have to be aware of limitations. There are those dedicated to the Earth-Life system who can produce a massive simulated core self so cleverly done that it conceals the real Earth-Life system action and motivation. It is easy to be deceived. It may help to accept, as a belief to be converted into a known, that we, as human mind consciousness, have both an individual and a species purpose or purposes. Purposes. I can't say that. Can you say that? Wolf, say it. Purposes.
Purposes.
Fuck, you can say it better than I can. It messes my head up. So we have an individual and a species purpose or purposes for being in the Earth-Life system, which is not usually an understood part of our physical waking awareness. Conflict arises when the human mind demands an action and the Earth-Life system self has trouble handling it. There is a growing suspicion that much of our mental and physical dysfunction is the result of this conflict. The least of the conflict is external. Most lies in the habituation and motivation struggle within the human mind. Now, here are a few of the common signs of the core self that may emerge through the layers. These are strictly non-Earth life system and non-animal and are not listed in order of importance. Number 1, emotion. Any expression of emotion, sadness, joy, anger, grief, ecstasy, hate, exaltation, depression, and so on, all subjective and spontaneous. The key is to experience and subsequently to learn to control and direct them as desired. In the Earth life system, there is no emotion beyond survival responses such as protection of the young, responses which are purely aggressive or defensive in motivation. The nearest simulations include possessiveness, dominance, jealousy, pride, etc. The next is empathy, appreciation and even understanding without necessarily having any related personal memory or experience to draw upon. Empathy is a recognition of oneness beyond physical species. It is also a reflection of the knowledge that such experience is essential to the individual's learning process. Therefore, nothing can or should be done to attempt to change the problems others must face. Sympathy and compassion are specific versions that are colored by emotion to varying degrees. The Earth life system has no knowledge or understanding of this area. The closest approximation may be herd or pack instinct, which is strictly survival-based. It is possible that current dolphin investigations may have some relevance here. Yeah, I heard dolphins have empathy for others, maybe. The next is a soft smile, a direct information flow from the core self level. It's a form of what can be called nonverbal communication, multiple and total simultaneous transmission and reception that cannot be expressed in words. The facial expression is an automatic response. Got it loud and clear. The Earth life system has nothing comparable. The closest may be relationships developed between human minds and pet animals, a hand lick or a purr, but simulations are all over the place. Yeah, there's a lot to be, you can get a lot from a person's smile, a whole lot actually. The next is a big grin, another thrust direct from the core self. This radiation cannot be translated into words or graphics. Joy and fun are too mundane. There are many imitations, and because it is so disarming, the indicator is widely used to manipulate. Go past the indicator to the radiation self. And again, there is nothing comparable in the Earth life system. And in this framework, anything similar is a warning or a prelude to predation. Yeah, I know. That's true. Because if you have, like, a person can grin and they're up to no good and just be thinking something. But if an animal starts to grin in a weird way, usually they're about to bite your ass, How about the next one is beauty beholding. This is clean core self. It is pure appreciation of the inspiration and creativity of not only Earth life system constructs, but also of human mind patterns, from soaring bridges and buildings to a cappella choirs and human mind performance. It is an information experience gathering process that your human mind cannot resist. The Earth life system has no comprehension of this and nothing comparable, so there can be no imitations. I'd say that the full moon tonight, as bright as it is a beauty beholding. I just want to go out and look at it. The next is nostalgia. I have a problem personally with nostalgia, actually. This is a welling up from the core self of origin memory, which is best rationalized as emotional values from previous experiences in your present lifetime. In this way, it is possible to divert away from the underlying and implied plea. Show me the way to go home. The Earth life system has no comprehension or comparable pattern that is not system-based. The closest are migrating birds and salmon, but their motivations are practical system patterns. Yeah, so we do have like that nostalgic, emotional feeling of take me back home, take me home. You know that Phil Collins song, Take Me Home? That's what it's all about. It's like a feeling that you remember, or if you think about something you did in the past and you just want to go back to it. Nothing else in the Earth life system does this except us, right? Next is a gentle touch, a very simple core self-expression. A touch instead of a grasp, a pat instead of a punch, a stroke instead of a shove. Even animals understand and know the difference. In the Earth life system, animals do learn a crude version, but all they can do is lick or rub, which may be enough. Also, humans have the anonymous giving, a true demonstration of the core self in action. Altruism and agape are working illustrations, service to others with absolutely no recompense or recognition except to your human mind core. In the Earth life system, this is totally beyond comprehension. If it happens, it's by accident, not design. The next is thinking. Human minds are thinkers to a degree not found elsewhere in the Earth life system. Once we get past the lures of the system, we discover a flow of ideas, inspiration, intuition, invention, innovation, all sorted through for us by our magnificent processor, the mind. These are products of core self-directives and are often sparked by curiosity, which is a great catalyst for change. There's nothing remotely close in the Earth life system. All we find is some rudimentary tool making, some instinctive processes that are usually attributed to keen physical sensory perception. Some animals do have curiosity, which often proves fatal. The next one is the big nugget. Because this item of universal interest is so misunderstood and misconstrued, it took a special extended investigation to reduce it to anywhere near a rational level. The following rote, passed to me by a friend, is at least a beginning. Once it's absorbed, it will expand as it is contemplated. This is the big one. Love can't be taught. It can't be bought. Love can't be learned. It is generated within the individual in response to an external stimulus. The individual has no control over this generation. Once initiated, it may be layered over or sublimated, but never destroyed. Physical death has no effect upon the reality of its existence, as such energy is neither dependent upon nor a part of time-space. It is a radiation that cannot be grasped and held onto. Instead, it is just perceived, experienced as it passes through the individual, who adds to it that additional portion which has been generated by this passing. The energy is thereby enhanced, and the individual becomes a constant contributor and recipient thereof. With the heavy emphasis on sexual arousal and the myth of romance, it is no surprise that so many claim to experience what we may call the big L in their relationships. Not so. The only way you can obtain it is through shared life experience, and even then, there's no guarantee. On the other hand, it will grow on you. You don't have to work at it, despite what the books say. Time is not a vital factor. The deeper, more intense the shared experience, the less time it takes. Other attractions are not necessarily destructive or valueless, but they do fall into other categories. The difference is that the big L, or love, is indestructible and eternal, and never dependent on local habits and customs. Friendship, for example, might be construed as a shadow of the big L, or at least a kissing cousin. A great problem lies in misidentification. We become entrapped into believing we have found the big L, often with disastrous results when the ideal is not adhered to by the loved one. The most consistent and visible facet of the big L is probably mother love. It meets the tests admirably, although it often gets heavily layered with protocol. Men find the big L in other men and women in other women, usually as a result of profound experiences over time. Although extended experience does not automatically evoke the big L. Yet when it does happen, sometimes effortlessly and without conscious awareness, it is permanent in the full meaning of the word. If you work together, play together, live together, fight, suffer, laugh, and team together, the probability is increased. The main characteristic of the big L is that it does not diminish with physical death, and you cannot extinguish it during physical life. Out of necessity, propriety, or for reasons beyond your control, you may sublimate it, yet it will always be there, glowing quietly within you. So why the expression, "till death do us part," became part of our culture is a mystery. Perhaps it was inserted so that the physical survival would feel emotionally free to remarry and beget more offspring to further ensure the continuation of the species. Otherwise, it makes no sense. The big L is the core self at its finest distillation. Reflecting on all this, I think that the source of the missing basic is now clear. The core self. But how do you really get to know you? Oh, deep stuff from Robert Monroe. All these out-of-body experiences, and he's contemplating, right? All right, let the pessimists and the cynics start to speak now. Wait, let me see how many votes we got on the predatory system. Ooh, 13 votes. Still 85% say it's a predatory system. History is a lie. Fuck books, Ari says. Joe isn't stupid. Didn't we cover this in the previous book? You never know what Ari's going to say. We should probably have our own like Ari like sound chamber where we can hear him actually saying this stuff, you know. I think we covered some of it in the previous book, honestly. Yeah, but I think he's kind of rehashing some stuff. Wolf, Bryce, any comments before we move on? We still got 30 minutes, man. We're tearing ass through this book, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, I was just seeing the comments there. Ari's mentioning Joe McMonagle. I don't know if we've ever discussed him. I think we have off air. And
Joe
some
McMonagle?
of his, yeah, because he did. He was a little bit involved with Monroe now and again. But I have read some of his experiences, but it's mainly remote viewing, mainly the Stargate program and the CIA and that. But he has had some interesting out of body experiences, you know.
You know, it's a little harder for me to get people on the program than it used to be. You know, just because I took a break from it all and dropped the radio station, and because this is a predatory system, and people, I mean, do I need to go into the details as to why? You know, but I can still ask to talk to him. Maybe he'll come on. You never know.
Yeah, he's getting on a bit now.
Let's see. All right, tour guide. Let's see. I mean, so far, not a whole lot of this book has been Monroe's out of body experiences, though, has it? It's all like his contemplations and stuff that he's learned. It's kind of, you know, I mean, subjective. It's philosophical to say the least, but we got to start. Let's do some stuff here. So, as the search for the missing basic continues, we as visitors and participants in the Earth life system might now assess and summarize what we have learned so that we may be in a better condition to survey and then travel the road that lies ahead. Our different overview is beginning to firm up, but all the same, the question still arises, why do we bother? Why continue with this hard journey when we could simply just relax into the comfort of an appropriate belief system? We shall see later if the journey brings its own reward. In the meantime, let's have a look at where we are and what our new and different overview reveals. The Earth life system, for all its shortcomings, is an exquisite teaching machine. It brings into focus for each of us in our own way a wide understanding of energy and the control and manipulation thereof that is generally unavailable except through a structured environment such as time and space. The Earth life system is a set of tools, and we learn to use them. In the Earth life system, we learn measurement. It is a polarized environment where comparatives are possible. We learn what are hot or cold, strong or weak, hungry or full, fast, slow, sad, glad, male, female, friend or foe, love or hate, and the list goes on. We learn energy applications in a useful manner in many different forms. We operate physical energy both inside and outside our bodies. We experience and direct mental energy without ever truly knowing the details of how, because it comes so naturally to us. And through application of our human mind, we learn to create in ways and methods we didn't know existed because they are unique to time and space. And some are peculiar to and available only in this system and are not available elsewhere. These provide avenues of expression beyond description. Similarly, we learn application or appreciation of beauty. We find it in a lowly rock, a stately fir tree, a thunderstorm, ocean surf, a cloud-tinted sunset, a soft-spoken word, a sweeping skyscraper tower, a musical chord, the leap of a leopard. Again, the list is endless. Most of all, we find it in what other humans think and do, in their and our emotions, and we learn to laugh and have fun. Every single thing we learn, no matter how small or seemingly inconsequential, is of immense value, there beyond time and space. This is fully understood only when one encounters a graduate of the Earth life system process of human beings who resides in the there. You then know, not just believe, that it is worth any price to be human and to learn. Now, to effect the greatest change in your overview and to provide a simple and understandable purpose for being here in the Earth life system, we need to be specific. This involves looking closely at something unique to the human mind, our thinking process. Current concepts have it that, aside from our animal-driven activity, our thinking is divided into two basic categories, which we identify as left brain and right brain. Now, bear in mind that this identification is only symbolic, and the separation is nowhere near as distinct as left and right would seem to indicate. But our left brain process is the part of us that gets things done. It is the intellectual, analytical area of function. Here lies our mathematical and speech centers, our logical reasoning, our scientific method, our organizational talents and teaching skills, and much more. It is our left brain activity that makes us different from animals. It is the source of our can-do optimism. Our right brain is opposite, and from this comes our perception of form and space, beauty, intuition, emotions, plus everything else the left brain cannot understand or categorize, including love, friendship, inspiration, etc. The right brain is horrified at the idea that a left brain formula can be produced to quantify and qualify love and friendship. That is right brain sacred territory. Paradoxically, our right brain is the generator of our feelings of negativity. More recent concepts hold that our human consciousness flickers back and forth between left and right brain as situations arise during our physical life. And when we perform calculations, our left brain is dominant. When we listen to music, our right brain takes over. Peak performance comes when both left and right brain thinkers are integrated, thinking is integrated, unified, synchronous. A kind of cultural subwar has been going on for centuries and has come to the surface only in recent years. The dominant left-brainers consider the dominant right-brainers to be basically unfit for existence in the Earth life system and tend to regard them with contempt or disbelief. The dominant right-brainers look on the others as unimaginative, dull, over-materialistic, unfeeling, and lacking in spiritual values. It is now time to declare peace in this battle and to set right this dangerous misunderstanding. Yeah, we even have they're Bloods and Crips now, and they're called politicians. And they got their cults on each side. Our prime and fundamental purpose, aside from learning through experience and being human, is to acquire and develop what we label intellect, left brain consciousness. We do not need to act similarly with our right brain abilities because we already have them. We brought them with us. Somehow they were just inherent when we were born. It is the left brain capability that is of exquisite value when we visit or return to there, beyond time and space. It is the left brain that removes the limitations on our growth that we present prior to our sojourn here. Only left brain function can make unknowns into knowns, dissolve fears, enhance experience, open new vistas, clean out the false belief systems that we refuse. It is the left brain that takes any idea, information, or inspiration emanating from or via the right brain and puts it into action. And by any standards, something of value cannot become real unless and until the left brain takes it over. For millennia, the human right brain has not changed. It's not grown or evolved. It's the same as it always was. And in contrast, left brain consciousness has been steadily evolving, either by design or necessity. In the past century, this growth has become an exponential curve, not simply in one or two individuals, but in literally millions of humans throughout the period. Today, the left brain has probed so deeply into time-space phenomena that there seem few areas left to explore without recycling and repetition. The energy fields in the there are ripe for in the left brain are ripe for exploration. And by its very nature, the left brain cannot help becoming involved in constructive evaluation and application. The right brain is forcing it to do so, and the right brain is in charge. What has happened is that our left brain has become so thoroughly entrenched, and justifiably so, in providing means of survival in the Earth-life system that it resists anything and everything that may interfere with or interrupt the process. What occurs beyond time, space, and the there does not calculate by ordinary Earth-life system standards. More important information from there appears to have no value for Earth-life system inhabitants. Only when our left brain recognizes that such knowledge is a most vital tool for growth in the there will specific interest be generated. So, it sounds like the ether or the astral or the spiritual realm is learning from our left brain experiences. Our different overview includes most emphatically the maturing talents of our left brain. As we've said, that's what we came here to acquire. Dominant right-brainers find this difficult or impossible to accept. As it is the boss, the right brain often forces the left brain to perform in a way that tends to destroy thousands of years of evolution. Meanwhile, our left brain continues to pick up the usable ideas and inspirations of the right brain and make them into something of value. It tolerates the non-productive right brain patterns as long as they don't get in the way. It also heavily distorts some right brain patterns to convert them into the Earth Life System survivor-predator organization. Now, for our different overview, here are two definitions. Left brain equals human mind modified by the Earth Life System. Right brain equals the expression of the core self, the timeless, non-physical part of us, untouched and unaffected as well by the Earth Life System. The trick is to get both left and right brain into simultaneous and synchronous action, nudging the left brain more and more into taking part in the there activity. You should never abandon one for the other. Once all of this is in place, you may find that the following points will help. 1. Always know and remember that you are more than your physical body. This will provide instant perspective on any Earth Life System activity. The agony becomes tolerable, the ecstasy more profound, locally induced fears evaporate. 2. Recognize and control your survival drive. Use it instead of allowing it to use you. Here are some suggestions. A. One part of the formula, physical life is good equals good, which is needed for the Earth Life System and is accepted during your stay. The other part, physical death equals bad. You can discard because you know better. You're more than your physical body, and death is just a part of the process. B. Remember that your ultimate goal is not physical survival. Thus, while it is valid that you are here to do certain things and there are functions you must perform to be here to do them, you don't need to be desperate about it. Accidents may happen, but you can't lose. You've had the experience of being human. C. The sexual reproductive drive is the most powerful animal instinct of the Earth Life System. Designed specifically for physical survival of the species, it controls and is manipulated to control the most aspects of human behavior. Enjoy it, but there's no need to live or die for it. And enjoy the manipulations for what they are. Succumb, but only knowingly. D. Physical assets like material, food, tools, toys are great for local use, but ownership is only a matter of temporary convenience. You not only cannot, but you would not want to take them with you, not even your physical body, where you're going after you die. You can't really have anything. It's not going to do you any good. All right. 3. Maintain your transient status. You are being human at your own option in the strictest sense. That option remains enforced throughout your visit. You may pack up your experience and leave whenever and whenever you desire and wherever you desire, with no censure or penalties from any source that matters. If your human mind is satisfied, you will do this in spite of local custom or effort. The Earth Life System addicts may not understand, but that's their problem. 4. Enjoy your life in the system. Maximize your highs and lows, but don't become addicted. Get through being angry at how the system works. The seeming iniquities, the unfair advantages, the brutalities, the callousness, the deceit. It's a predator world by design, and it's a superb teaching machine. 5. Exercise your human mind as fully as possible, knowing it is only an exercise. Build beautiful artifacts, solve, quote, problems, smell the flowers and watch the sunsets, compose music, explore the secrets of the physical universe, savor the input from all of your 5 senses, absorb the nuances of close relationships and situations, feel the joy and the sorrow, the laughter, the empathy, compassion, and tuck all of the emotional memory in your travel bag. 6th, Most important, let the human mind of you seek out experience and add to your flow of consciousness where and when you encounter it. Drink it in, but watch out for the tendency to wallow in it due to the reminders of home contained therein. Beware of illusions and collusions which make it sometimes difficult to sort out the real in the Earth life system environment. That's definitely a problem I have. I have a bad nostalgia problem. 7. Your human mind has a natural and normal proclivity to try to make things in the Earth life system much the way it is accustomed to in the there. History is full of such attempts, but in the end, the system always wins. An edge may have been frayed, but the predator animalism simply comes back, sometimes a bit smarter than before, and takes over. That does not mean you don't try in your human mind expression, and it is possible that you might change a part of it, but you will never change it all. If you did manage a complete overhaul, the system wouldn't and couldn't exist. Yet who knows how much longer it will exist anyway. All of the above points are knowns to others and are easy to verify for your own knowing through direct logical working of your left brain on each question or belief. Solidify your different overview by proving these for yourself and for yourself only. At this point, the Earth life system theme seemed complete, but it wasn't. Another part of me, who knows deeply the Earth life system from another overview, demanded to be heard. It was a long walk through the forest to reach the ocean. Along the way, the path was quiet except for the hum of the insects and the occasional call of the crow high in the tall trees. In the lush undergrowth, a slight crackling of dry leaves told of small residents, if one listened carefully. And under the fresh smell of growing green lay the deep aroma of moist earth and decaying vegetation, both silent signals of the life cycle and process. There was little wind as the soft rumble of surf grew steadily in strength. Then the forest ended and a gray-green sea spread out to the horizon. Stately cumulus cloud towers drifting overhead through a clear, clean azure sky. The grassy bank where the white beach began gave an irresistible invitation to ease down, lie back, and relax. The waves were gentle, placid, the breeze cool and soft, the sun warm and fresh. All comes to this, the beginning and the end of an eons-long period of time. The living mass of air, water, and land, what it gives and what it takes, and what it produces. It's more than awareness, more than consciousness, more than experience. It is more than intelligence, knowledge, truth, and understanding. The whole is so much greater than the sum of the parts. It is a wonderful learning process, learning to separate this from that, and the differences and comparisons, heat from cold, light from dark, noise from silence, strength from weakness, pain from comfort, thick from thin, rough from smooth, hard from soft, balance from instability. There is the learning of cause and effect, action and reaction, price and paying, authority and responsibility, and the options you learn to recognize, stop or start, hold or release, sink or swim, laugh or cry, friend or enemy, reward or retribution, success or failure, love or hate, win or lose, organization or chaos. There's the learning to think, to coordinate, count, calculate, and communicate, to remember, connect, plan, and have ideas, to daydream, create, hope, believe, and know, and the ability to experience and express emotion, joy and ecstasy, sadness, compassion, loneliness, communion, righteous and irrational anger. I love that term, righteous anger. And the appreciation of the beauty of form and movement. And there is the learning to learn words and numbers, writing, passing experience, knowledge, and wisdom from parent to child, generation to generation, without the trauma of reenactment, learning to establish systems, laws, and rules that ensure this learning will continue and expand. It is all there beyond the forest. It is the ripening carpets of grain, the neat multi-million rows of nourishing plants, and the mills that reshape matter into more usable form. It is in the many different shelters that are labeled home, the tall and slender towers that reach for the sky, the motor vehicles that become a substitute body, the ships sailing around the world atop and beneath the oceans, The winged carriers that draw white lines in the sky, and the metallic birds that hover and circle the globe hundreds, thousands of miles above its surface, each delivering innumerable items of information every second, day, and night. And it is in the invisible yet measurable network of controlled radiation that serves for communication and local direction finding. And there is more, such as the amplification of perception through lens and mirror, and electronic ears to search the universe for a signal, just one signal, to assuage the loneliness, searching through stars, constellations, galaxies, novas, and black holes. There is the illogical thrust away from our blue planet to the nearby moon, where an indelible footprint was left in the dust. There is the ranging and reporting of surrogate explorers to view and land on other planets, and thence moving on into the blackness of deep space. Learn, too, of the steady unfolding of the patterns that once seemed inviolate in land, water, and air, of alloys, compounds, elements, atoms, molecules, nuclear particles, radiation and waveforms of gravity, inertia, momentum, centrifugal force, polarity of the organic and inorganic, the living physical structures and their processes. Learn of the search for mind and creator, of belief systems, sleep and dreams, visions and visionaries, philosophies and religions. Learn also of love. This then is the wondrous package of achievement through millennia of evolutionary effort that we may carry lightly and easily, but with triumph into the far reaches beyond, a heritage of inestimable quality, to be evaluated and applied in the there. And every time he says in the there, he's talking about the spiritual realm or the astral realm, whatever we want to call it. Yet and yet among the clouds and the clamor, there is an uncomfortable sense of a missing factor, vital and important. Turn your attention, and a small face appears amid the mass of other knowing. It is shaped less than human and more than monkey. The eyes are luminous with emotion. It is there, all of it, in the eyes. From across the span of timelessness, the carrier of that first spark of intelligent consciousness, the original ancestor, looks out and observes with quiet pride and joy, with appreciation, but not total comprehension, and with awe at the growth of the spark. It is the parent of the prodigal child. Here, seen clearly and cleanly, is one missing factor, the animal base. None of this could have happened but for its presence and provision. It was the living demonstration from which to learn, providing the flesh to be consumed, the milk to drink, the hides and furs to give warmth, the stronger back to share the burden, oil for light, and trinkets and amulets from tusk and horn. There was loyalty, too, and a form of friendship, while there were some who found that fur and bare skin do mix and bring forth patterns of understanding far beyond anything envisioned. This animal energy was the driving force behind the spark. It provided not the catalyst, but the needs, motivations, and raw physical power. It is not to be hidden or demeaned, but included warmly and surely as the underlying essential without which nothing would have taken place. We must hold it up with pride for all to know. And with the knowing, the little face smiles slightly, softly, even wistfully, then fades. It's time to move on. The walk back along the path through the forest is filled with greetings. A squirrel on a low branch looks down and chatters. A bottle greenfly lands on a hand and enjoys gentle backstroking with a finger. 3 turkeys stand aside and watch the passage curiously, but without wariness. A gray fox wanders into the path and sits down, undecided as to whether to pay his respects. A thrush glides down, settles on a shoulder, and chirps softly into an ear until the edge of the forest is reached. And with a final peck on the cheek, it pulses its wings and returns to the middle branches. Goodbye, my friends, but I do take you with me. Damn, it sounds like Robert Monroe is writing all this. It sounds like he's about to die, doesn't it? I mean, it was beautiful writing, but I think it sounds like it sounds like he's like letting go of it all, isn't it?
To me, it kind of sounds like he's trying to fill a book out, like it was a bit.
Right.
You know.
Of course, Wolf would say that, right? He's just trying to fill a chapter, you know. That's it.
Yeah, didn't really hit me. I mean, there may be bits of it, but yeah,
I liked it. So the next chapter, he's going to get back into his out-of-body experiences. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. I don't have 10 minutes to read another chapter, but we'll do it tomorrow night. I think that was a massive download that he got. But I think we've all gotten that download, though. I know I didn't get that kind of download when I was in my 20s, but probably in my late 30s, I'd say. I got the same kind of download he's talking about. We all get that. I think, I hope, for the most part, when you get past your middle age, you start to get an awareness of what the hell's really going on here, as much as you could possibly know, you know. But yeah, so he's taking all of this download and stuff, and he's going to go forward. And I guess the next chapter, he's going to talk about the left brain and right brain symbiosis, the phasing concept, the continuum of consciousness. And I think he goes back out and looks for his inspect friend. I just don't want to give too much away. But he starts to have several OB experiences for different purposes towards the end of the book. You know, the download. Yeah, that's what I'd call it. Let's see, did we get any more votes about the predatory system? 15. That's it, man. Still 80%. There's that 20%. You guys, to me, you guys are overly the 20. I'll just be honest with you. That 20%, you guys are overly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being positive, unless you become delusional, right? I love you guys. You are the download. I think so. I think the only way the hell we're going to know any of this stuff is if you get out of body yourself, man. You know, like, do it. Like, stop messing about. You know, most people go around talking as if they know all kinds of shit about all kinds of things and never have had an out-of-body experience. They don't know anything beyond their own physical existence. Nothing. And yet when you get in conversation with them, they know all kinds of stuff about the universe and aliens and damn crystals and everything, you know. And you ask them what's outside this short physical life experience, and they'll speak to you as if they know something, but they don't know. And then you say, well, have you had an out-of-body experience, like a full-fledged out-of-body experience? Well, I lucid dreamed once. Well, I took some DMT once. Well, you haven't yet. You just haven't yet. I'm sure the Bigfoot people say the same thing when I tell them they're full of shit, though. You just hadn't seen a Sasquatch yet, man. Not for real. I just feel like if Sasquatch is real, we would have shot one by now, you know? Somebody would have shot one. I can't play that song. All right, we're going to get out of here. I love you guys. Night. Sweet dreams. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We'll be back tomorrow night. Same time, same channel, right here live on the Fringe FM. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.
Started to turn into somebody else. Yeah, I found myself believing.
Bunch of cynics.
My feet are near to the floor. I always thought we would get there somehow. I always thought there'd be more. Mouth teeth shut, crippled and frozen with fear. That maybe happens to somebody else. No, that doesn't happen around here.